The Washerwoman. Once upon a time, there was a kind and poor woman named Kyoma. Kyoma washed clothes for a very rich man named Chief Obinna. Chief Obinna lived in a big, beautiful house with shiny windows and tall walls. Kyoma would go to his house every day to wash his clothes because that was her job. She would scrub, and scrub until all the clothes were clean and bright. Chief Obinna never smiled at Kyoma. He was always serious and he hardly ever talked to her. But Kyoma didn't mind. She knew she was helping her family by washing the clothes. Kyoma's daughter, little Ada, loved her mother very much and always waited for her to come back home after work. One sunny afternoon, Kyoma went to Chief Obinna's house to wash his clothes like she always did. She carried a big bucket of water and soap. As she washed his shirts and trousers, she found something in the pocket of his jacket. It was a small, old paper, folded neatly. Kyoma was curious. She looked around to see if anyone was watching. She opened the paper slowly, her heart beating fast. What could it be? When Kyoma looked at the paper, her eyes grew wide. It was not just any paper. It was a letter, and it had strange words on it. The letter said something about a secret, something hidden in Chief Obinna's house. Kyoma couldn't believe her eyes. What was the secret? What was hidden in the house? Why was this letter in Chief Obinna's jacket? Kyoma folded the paper again and hid it in her apron. She didn't know what to do. Should she ask Chief Obinna? Should she keep quiet? She didn't have the answers yet, but one thing was sure: this letter would change her life forever. Kyoma went home that night, but she couldn't stop thinking about the letter. She sat down with little Ada, but her mind was far away. She kept thinking, what is the secret? What is hidden in Chief Obinna's house? The next morning, Kyoma went back to Chief Obinna's house to wash more clothes. She still had the letter hidden in her apron. As she washed, she looked around the big house. She saw the tall walls, the big doors, and the many windows. Could something be hiding here? She thought. Suddenly, Kyoma heard footsteps. She quickly turned around and saw Chief Obinna coming. He was walking towards her, with his serious face as always. Kyoma's heart started to beat fast. Did he know about the letter? She wondered. Chief Obinna didn't say anything. He just gave her more clothes to wash and walked away. Kyoma felt a little better, but she knew she had to be careful. She didn't want him to find out that she had the letter. After Chief Obinna left, Kyoma decided to take a closer look at the letter. She carefully opened it again. This time, she noticed something she hadn't seen before. At the bottom of the letter, there was a drawing of a small door. The door looked like it was hidden behind something. Kyoma's eyes grew wide. A hidden door. Could there really be a secret door in Chief Obinna's house? She didn't know, but now she had to find out. Kyoma finished washing the clothes and started to look around the house carefully. She walked by the walls and checked behind the big curtains. She peeked behind the tall shelves. She looked and looked, but she didn't see any door. Just when Kyoma was about to give up, she noticed something strange behind a big painting on the wall. The painting was very big, and it showed a picture of a river. Kyoma touched the painting, and it moved a little. Slowly, she pulled it to the side, and there it was, a small door, just like the drawing on the letter. Kyoma's heart was beating very fast now. Should I open the door? What's behind it? She didn't know, but she had to be brave. Kyoma's hand touched the small door handle. She was shaking a little because she was scared, but she knew she had to be brave. Slowly, she turned the handle, and the door made a quiet creak sound as it opened. Behind the door, there was a dark, small room. Kyoma couldn't see much, but she saw a little box sitting on the floor. The box was old and dusty. Kyoma's heart started to beat even faster. What is inside the box? She wondered. She took a deep breath and stepped inside the small room. Carefully, she picked up the box. It was a little heavy. With shaking hands, she opened it, and her eyes grew wide with surprise. Inside the box were shiny, sparkling gold coins. So many of them. Kyoma couldn't believe what she was seeing. There were also some old papers in the box. One of the papers had the same strange writing as the letter. Kyoma looked closer, and she saw that the paper said something important. This treasure belongs to the true owner of the house. Only the kind and honest heart will find it. Kyoma gasped. Is this treasure for me? She thought. She didn't know what to do. Should she take the box and run? Should she tell Chief Obinna about it? Suddenly, Kyoma heard footsteps again. Someone was coming closer. Her heart started to race. Who is it? Did Chief Obinna know she found the secret room? She quickly closed the box and hid behind the door, holding her breath. The footsteps stopped right in front of the small door. Kyoma was very scared as she hid behind the door. Her heart was beating so fast. The footsteps stopped and she didn't know who was there. Was it Chief Obinna? She thought. Did he find out about the secret room? Then, the small door slowly opened a little more. Kyoma held her breath, trying to stay quiet. But when the door opened fully, she was surprised. It wasn't Chief Obinna. It was his little son, Chinedu. Chinedu looked around the small room. He didn't see Kyoma because she was hiding. He saw the box on the floor, and his eyes grew big. He knew about the gold coins. He had seen them before, but his father told him never to touch them. Chinedu didn't take the box. He just looked at it for a moment, then turned and left, closing the small door behind him. Kyoma waited quietly until she couldn't hear his footsteps anymore. She sighed with relief. She wasn't caught. Kyoma slowly came out from her hiding place. She looked at the box again. What should I do? She thought. She didn't know if the treasure was hers, but the paper said, only the kind and honest heart will find it. Kyoma was kind. Kyoma was honest. Maybe the treasure was for her after all. But she still wasn't sure. Just as she was about to leave the small room, she heard another sound. This time, it wasn't footsteps. It was a voice calling her name. Kyoma, the voice said. Kyoma froze. Who is calling me? She wondered. The voice was soft but clear, and it seemed to come from somewhere very close. Kyoma's heart jumped when she heard the voice. Who is calling me? She thought again. She looked around the small, dark room, but she didn't see anyone. Kyoma, the voice said again, soft and clear. Kyoma felt scared, but she tried to be brave. She whispered, "Who is there?" For a moment, there was silence. Then, the voice spoke again, "Don't be afraid, Kyoma. I am here to help you." Kyoma was confused. Help me? She thought. Who could this be? The voice continued, "You have found the treasure, Kyoma. This treasure is meant for someone who is good and kind, like you. But be careful. Not everyone knows the truth about this treasure." Kyoma's eyes grew wide. Was the treasure really for me? She wondered. But she still didn't know where the voice was coming from. She asked, "Who are you?" The voice said, "I am a spirit who has watched over this house for many years. Chief Obinna's family does not know about me. But I know you, Kyoma. I know you are a good woman. That is why you found the treasure." Kyoma felt a little less scared now, but she was still confused. "What should I do with the treasure?" she asked. The voice was quiet for a moment, then it said, "The treasure is yours, but you must be wise. Chief Obinna does not know the true secret of this house. You must find out more before you decide what to do." Kyoma nodded slowly, even though she couldn't see the spirit. She knew now that this was not just about gold coins. There was more she had to learn. "Thank you," Kyoma whispered to the spirit. Then, just as suddenly as it came, the voice disappeared. The room was quiet again. Kyoma stood there, holding the box of gold coins, her mind filled with many questions. What is the real secret of this house? She wondered. And how will I find out? Kyoma stood in the quiet, dark room, holding the box of shiny gold coins. She thought about the spirit's words. What more is there to know? She asked herself. She knew she couldn't keep the treasure just yet. She had to be wise, like the spirit said. But how? Kioma decided it was time to leave the small room. She carefully put the box back in its place, closed the door, and covered it with the big painting again. She would come back later when she knew what to do. Kioma finished washing Chief Obina's clothes and went home. When she got there, little Ada ran to her, smiling. "Mama, Mama," she called. "You're home." Kioma hugged her daughter tightly, but her mind was still full of questions. That night, she couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about the treasure and the spirit's words. The next day, Kioma went back to Chief Obina's house. This time, she decided to pay close attention to everything in the house. She looked around carefully as she worked. Maybe there are more clues, she thought. As she was cleaning, she noticed something strange in Chief Obina's office. There was a big, old book on his desk. The book looked very old, with torn pages and a dusty cover. Kioma felt her heart beat faster. Could this book tell me more about the secret? She wondered. When no one was watching, Kioma opened the book. She flipped through the pages slowly, and then she saw something that made her eyes grow wide. There was a drawing, just like the one on the letter. It showed the hidden door, the small room, and the treasure. Kioma knew she had found something important. She read more carefully, and soon she saw some words that made her heart stop. The treasure belongs to the true owner of the house. Only they will unlock its power. Kioma gasped. Who is the true owner of the house? Could it be Chief Obina, or someone else? Kioma's eyes filled with wonder as she read the last words in the old book. The true owner of the house. She thought. What does this mean? Suddenly, it all made sense. The spirit had said the treasure was for someone kind and honest, someone like her. Chief Obina was rich, but he was not the true owner of the treasure. Kioma realized that she, with her good heart, was the one meant to have it. Kioma took a deep breath. She knew what she had to do. She went back to the small room, opened the hidden door, and took the box of gold coins. This time, she felt no fear. The treasure was hers. The next day, Kioma left Chief Obina's house and took the gold coins to a special place in the city where she exchanged them for lots and lots of money. She became very rich, richer than she ever dreamed. Kioma built a big, beautiful house for herself and her family. She made sure little Ada went to the best school, and her whole family was happy and healthy. Kioma shared her wealth with her neighbors and friends, helping everyone in her village live a better life. News of Kioma's kindness spread far and wide. People came from all over to see the generous woman who had once been a simple washerwoman. They loved her for her big heart and her humble spirit. Kioma was now very famous, but she never forgot where she came from. She always remembered the secret treasure and the spirit's words. She knew that being kind and honest had made her life full of happiness. Kioma's family lived in peace, and they were all very rich and happy. Every day, they smiled, laughed, and thanked Kioma for her bravery and her good heart. And so, Kioma's story became a tale that everyone in the land would tell, a story of how kindness, honesty, and a little bit of mystery could change a life forever. The end. Subscribe to this channel for more interesting videos.